to extend humility and grace to transgender athletes. The CIF Championship will be held Friday and Saturday at Buchanan High School in Fresno County. Live in the newsroom, Carly Gomez, ABC 7 Eyewitness News. Okay, Carly, thank you. A 33-year-old man is in the hospital fighting for his life after he was shot on the 710 freeway in Long Beach. Fabian Lemus was driving home from his second job when two shots suddenly rang out. One hit the father of three in the back, paralyzing him from the waist down. It happened Friday night on the 710 South near Del Alamo Boulevard.
And I want to ask you this question, and I want you to be honest with yourself.
When he was shot.
And I wonder if you can
like a nightmare.
If you can honestly answer this question. Can anybody change? Yes, anybody can change. But it's the way you change and how you change. You know, I'm not the man I used to be when I was a younger man. Now that I'm an older man, I've completely changed. Mentally, emotionally, physically, financially. I done changed. I don't know about the rest of y'all. Everybody can change. I changed for the better. I changed because I wanted to. I changed because I drove myself to change. Now, there's this controversy that's about to be, you know, they gonna hit them in their face. See, most of the times, society try to blame certain things on certain groups of races of people. And I believe that even though they try to go against this certain group of people, they always find a way to shake the narrative, to make you think, see, it's nothing wrong with it. It can happen. But see, it's different. Let me tell you why. Because we're going to talk about transgenders for a minute. When men decide to change into women, fully change, like fully change. And I believe that a man can change into a woman if they do one thing. One thing. They got to cut off their thing. If they cut off their thing surgically and convert, then they can be accepted as a converted transgender. Like they transgender, they transform, they're transformer. Like you converted, you are fully transformed. You cut your thing off. You want to be a woman. You did everything in nature possible to be a woman. Ain't nothing wrong with being, you done that. You changed. But this is the reality side of it. You're not a transgender if you don't cut your thing off. You thinking about transforming over to the other. You ain't fully thought, you ain't fully made that full decision. Because to make the full decision, you got to cut it off. And if you cut it off, okay, we can accept you in the women's bathroom with our women. You ain't got nothing to, you just like them. You just have to use the bathroom in a different way. You got to sit down sideways and run that tube out the side. Like, I don't know. But we ain't gonna talk about it. They got a controversial story. And this time, it's a white transgender. A little white transgender. And people, I don't know why people don't tell these people the truth. Like, these smuggling motherfuckers, like, for you trying to be a girl and you was born biologically a boy, do you know what you physically look like to society, how you are viewed, how you are accepted? The first thing come to a masculine boy's mind is, nasty, It's the first thought that come to our mind when we really look at y'all ass. Like, but that's the way we feel because we are, natural boys. Like, when you're a natural boy, when you just embrace the gender that the Lord blessed you with, you know, the little swangy stick you got down there, you know, the little elephant. You an elephant boy. You an elephant boy. How you doing? Don't nobody like to hear the truth. I understand. I don't have no problems with people making decisions to change their lives and how they change. I changed mine, you know, and I can't tell you how to change your life, you know. But I'm gonna tell you what the Lord loves, and what He want me to tell you. That is an abomination to the Lord. That if you decide to tell society and speak out loud in public and tell people that you are gay, you know you are publicly announcing that you are a homosexual. And if we go to the Bible, do you what do the Bible say about homosexuals? Homosexuals will not enter the gates of heaven. Homosexuals will go to hell. That is an abomination. That is an evil spirit and that's possessed them. And we allow these evil spirits to publicly just say what the fuck they want to say. Now I don't know about the rest of y'all. Y'all say what you want to say, believe how you want to believe. But I was taught to be a radical Christian. I'm a Christian. And I was raised to be a Christian, a man in the Christian church, to have a wife, to have children, to multiply and be prosperous and grow. That's what I was instilled. That's what I was taught to be. And you know, some of these transgenders, they was in the church too. But that just goes to show that people don't be listening. People ain't paying no attention. They got their mind elsewhere. Instead of them listening to the pastor and to the word that's coming out of his mouth, talking about the words of Jesus and God, they got their mind looking at that young boy booty over there that just got up, had to use the bathroom and threw his finger up. Ain't nothing wrong with it. But it is something wrong. That is something wrong. That is something wrong with that. I ain't gonna sit up here and say ain't nothing wrong with that. I be agreeing with him, mate. If you agree with it, if you accept it, if you think that something ain't nothing wrong with it, you going to hell too. And I hate to be the bearer of bad news, but you going to hell, man. You going to hell because you condoning evil. You condoning sin. You condoning an evil spirit to dwell and just blossom through a person's body. And that ain't cool. Now I don't know how y'all feel about it, but I was raised to love the Lord and to follow the Lord's instructions. If the Lord brung you into this world to be a man, then you have to follow the instructions to become a man. Like, and a man is a man, and a man don't sleep with other men. A man don't wear women clothing. A man shouldn't feel comfortable wearing women clothing. I don't know why, but they do. It's okay. No, the fuck it ain't. Ain't nothing okay about it. I don't accept bullshit. I don't do fuckery. I don't fuck with shit like that. I don't like shit like that. I like I like I like titties. I want to be a man to open up a titty bar. Hire women to come in here and take their shirt off and serve drinks. Shake their titties. Like, am I the only one? I guess it's early in the morning and I got to talking about transgenders. And I said like the wrong way to start a conversation early in the morning. And, you know, the L. How y'all doing? It's an early morning conversation. Started off fucked up because they got a white transgender and they trying to push the narrative. They trying to push it. They always try to push it so they can start some shit. And that's what they doing. They got this white transgender, and if they don't disqualify him by Friday, if they let him perform, all hell finna break loose in California. Donald Trump finna start pulling all kind of funding. Boy, he finna take all their food stamps. He finna take everything. And if a motherfucker don't know it, you better watch what watch. And you know what? California gonna push it. They gonna push it just to see how Donald Trump react. And when they start snatching shit from their ass, they gonna be like, oh my God, oh my God. You see what the transgender that got us into? Like, they finna, man, I don't support this shit because This is just causing harm to innocent people that's just trying to live their life normally. You know what I mean? A lot of people don't see the harm that they about to cause to normal people. Donald Trump gonna take a lot of people's stuff, and man, they finna start defunding California every direction, every program that got federal funding is gonna get defunded. I don't know why. Y'all wanna play with these folks? I don't know if you agree or disagree. Do you agree or disagree? Transgender children shouldn't be. I feel like they parents should be arrested for coercing them children to be that way. They should have took them kids to therapy. They should have took them kids to church. They should have took them to the pastor. They should have took them to the Catholic. If you're a Catholic, you should have took them into the confession stand. But y'all don't want to listen. How y'all doing? But y'all think allowing the devil and the demons of the devil, Satan and his followers, to possess these children and make them feel like they something that they not. And y'all condoning this shit. Y'all encouraging it, and y'all telling these kids it's okay, and it's not. These kids gonna grow up and get beat up all the time. They gonna get beat up. They gonna get beat up by words. They gonna get beat up by society. They gonna get beat up by looks. I don't know about y'all, man, but I think about life, and I think about how beautiful life is, and I think about how we contribute to the planet to recreate. And I'm thinking years beyond my life. You know what I mean? And the only way that we can live as humans, thrive and survive, grow and multiply, is that we have to be masculine people. A woman have to be a woman, and a man have to be a man, and we have to come together and recreate. That's the only way. And they trying their hardest. You want to know why? And I'm gonna tell you why. And this is deep. This is deep. And this ain't got nothing to do with in particular races, but it do. You know, the darker your skin, the more babies you can make. The lighter your skin, the less possibilities you have to regenerate. Like, and I'm seeing this because, and man, I ain't gonna lie. If I wanted to make a baby every year, 2, 3 babies, 5, 6 babies, right now, I can, man. Boy, I impregnate every woman I skeet in. Skeet, 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 skeet. That's why I hold my dick back. I know how dangerous this shit is, right? And I ain't trying to keep recreating. It's just dangerous, man, to make a baby now, man. It's dangerous, man. This is a fucked up world. Now we at the point where we don't even want to make children. Cause we afraid of how society gonna program their ass to start thinking later on in life. And if you ain't a real parent, if you ain't really instilling your children the words of God, morals and respect, like, your kids gonna grow up thinking that everything in society that look normal and everybody deemed to be normal is gonna be normal, and that is not normal, and that's not cool. But the more I talk about reality, the more I look at this shit, and the more I see all these people accepting this shit and condoning it and telling them, oh, you look good, oh, don't listen to nobody, oh, be yourself. No, nigga. No, nigga, please stop that shit. Y'all just fucking these people up, making their ass look sillier and sillier in public. Like, am I the only one that feel that way? I feel sorry for people that be embarrassing themselves, that be looking fucked up and ugly as hell. And it's sad because it's a lot of beautiful young women, man, beautiful girls. beautiful, could be beautiful. And I done seen something that was beautiful, and just, I don't know what it is in life that told their ass they wasn't. After they started allowing to live in sin and starting to live that demon that dwells in them, they start to look like the demon over time. Like a lot of people don't know what I'm talking about. That's why you see these pretty ass girls and they become gay, and then all of a sudden you see them 3 years later, you be like, what the fuck? God damn, what the fuck happened to you? Ugly as hell now. Oh hell no. Like, people wonder why I look so good and why I look so young. And one of my secrets to looking good and staying youthful is loving God. Loving God and being a man. Loving God and being a man. Following the rules that God has put right here before us. It's real easy. It's real easy. It's real easy. Like, I can tell y'all, we are animals by nature. And I noticed this, man, just by watching, you know, animals. I watch the Animal Channel, the Animal Planet. I like watching animals because animals are the natural freaks of nature. You know what I mean? If we watch animals and we watch the natural movements and habits of animals, we'll start to see the characteristics of ourselves in those animals. But one thing I can always say about animals, if you watch them, they will always tell us the truth about ourselves. We are animals by nature. And if you put a male and a female in a room together, eventually they gon' fuck. I don't give a fuck what they look like. They gon' fuck. Psychologically, they did a test. They did this, they tested this shit. Scientists, they done tested us in rooms together and all this shit. They know that, and this is why black men are so dangerous. If you put a black man in a room with any species of women, any races of women, within 3 times of that black man having sex with that woman, usually the first time, that woman becomes impregnated. And they done this study with every race of man. And I know this because my grandfather used to tell me about all these different studies. They used, all these, when they came over here and conquered us, they started putting us in labs and doing all kind of amazing shit. They was like, you know, people don't know the real history of America, man. People think that Christopher Columbus came over here and discovered America. What's up? What's up, Big? What's up, Marcus? How y'all doing? Good morning. What you say? Check out Phono Fame, Brody. Who is this nigga? Say he got on. Say you got on video. Oh, wow. I like people like y'all, man. Come on in and have a seat. I'm like one of the realest niggas you ain't never know that existed. That's the funny part. Oh, shit. Early in the morning, man. How your day starting? Yours good? I just live life, man. Every day, one day at a time. This the way life is. A bunch of doors, matrix jumps, How y'all doing? Push that like button. Come on in. There was a very, very interesting story on TV this morning that I was watching. Whew. My God. Whew. Come on in, push that like button, have a seat. We really just getting started. I want to show y'all something. There's a lot of people. Oh my God. Oh my God. Boy, I'm telling you, the devil's a lie early in the morning. Oh God. Good morning, y'all. Rise and shine. It's 4 o'clock in the morning. No, it's 4:57. I start taking appointments at 5 a.m. So I don't know about the rest of y'all, but my day started at 4 a.m. You know, if you live by the 4 a.m. rule, you might learn how to be successful like me. I'm just talking to barbers. Just barbers. Nah, if you ain't in my profession, then I'm not talking about you directly to you. I'm just talking to barbers. I'm a real, you know, successful master barber. Black barbers, you know, black men only own black barbershop. You know how that go. Motherfucker don't like that type of shit. Nigga don't need their ass. How you doing? Push that like button. You thought I was a bum ass nigga, huh? Yeah, I know you did. I really came in here for some coffee. I need some mud. Change my life. Mississippi baby doing his thing. What's up, Marcus? Come on in. Run it up for the homies. They don't understand, man. I ain't studying that shit. Ooh, ooh, ooh. The angels in heaven don't sign my name. Don't you know that I know I've been changed? Say I know I've been changed. Don't you know, baby, I know I've been changed. Oh shit, I thought the camera was on me. Go to the laundromat this morning. What time is it? Okay, I need to go. 6 o'clock. Still my goddamn. I love when you talk to me nasty. I don't take words from the back seat. Another day, another dollar, man. Say, God, thank you. Thank you for another day. Who's gonna holler? Who's gonna holler? I gotta go get my other car. Bring that motherfucker back over here. I'll catch an Uber over there. How y'all doing this morning? Come on in. You said, was I in a boys' home? Yeah, when I was young. It wasn't called a boys' home. You said, I'm from Laurel. You know my family? I might do. Beanie Baby. Oh man, I am missing the news.
Rules after President Trump threatened to withhold federal funding over transgender athletes.
Here we go, right here.
At the
Push
center
the
of the
like button.
controversy is a
Look at this.
transgender athlete from Rupa Valley. A.B. Hernandez won the triple jump and long jump at the CIF Girls Championship meet over the weekend. In a post yesterday, President Trump threatened to pull massive amounts of federal funding from the state, saying it's illegal to allow men to play in women's sports. The CIF responded saying any biological female student athlete who didn't make the cut because of Hernandez's participation will be allowed another chance in the finals this weekend.
The LA City Council set to vote again today on its revised budget.
The vote was supposed to take place yesterday, but was delayed because of paperwork.
What do y'all think about that story?
The council approved
That's some deep shit, ain't it?
$14 billion budget last week, but it does require a second
They keep
vote
trying to push
before
it.
Can be sent to Mayor Karen Bass.
They keep trying to push
Bass's
it.
initial plan called for 1,600 layoffs. City council members, however, are hoping to save about 1,000 of those positions. The council is also set to consider a motion to cancel a scheduled 4% raise for council aides. Similarly, Mayor Bass has said she will take a pay cut and hold off on raises for her staff.
All right, hey, good morning. This is what it looks like today if you're heading out the door over into LAX. You
I
have
love when
temperatures
you talk
that are
to
going to
me
be hovering right
nasty.
into the 60s. So overall, we're going to do really well this morning. Our temperature is not too cold, 61 degrees. We do have a layer of cloud coverage that is very thick and very stubborn, so I just don't see that we're going to get out of this cool pattern for the morning or cloudy pattern for a while. We're likely going to see a real nice reduction in, unfortunately, the sunshine for a large area of our coastline. And then heading out towards our inland spots, it'll be delayed for sunny skies as we're heading into your afternoon. But our inland empire, 84 degrees, still expected on the way. We have a spike in our temperatures by the time we're heading into your Friday. Friday, 96 degrees, and then we'll see those temperatures slowly come right back down. And it looks like 85 degrees on Sunday. And I really just want to point out Friday, Saturday, Sunday, maybe even Monday, we have a chance of some thunderstorms rolling through the area. This is going to be subtropical moisture, maybe even some rainfall. So again, this is unusual for Southern California, and I'll show you what little storm system is rolling into our coastline, creating all these maybe interesting problems. We'll send it back over your way, John and Rachel.
Yeah, it seems early for monsoonal moisture, but I guess we'll have to deal with it. Thanks.
Yeah, it's not monsoonal. I'll show you why it's different.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, look forward to it. Thanks, Leslie. Jobs at Six Flags are getting cut. More of the layoffs just announced.
Plus, PCH is open to the public, but how is it affecting other highways? We're getting reaction from local commuters.
And we're talking about the top dream sports destinations. Did any of our local stadiums make that list? Well, we have some answers.
I don't really like committing to things. I'm a scared. But when Verizon announced that I could lock in a low price for 3 years, I mean, yeah, that's what I'm talking about. Can you hear me now?
Every day, over 1,000 accidents happen in California.
Oh yeah, I got a comedy show tonight. I gotta get to LA. I got a show tonight. I was invited to come to this show. So I'm gonna be like this guest speaker. Special guest. That's what it is. Man, fuck that. It's Wednesday. Now I need to go to Pasadena too. Damn, I gotta go down there. I gotta go to LA today. I'm going to Hollywood. I gotta go do some things. Tell some jokey jokes today. Make me some money tonight. Push that like This the type of shit.
Sir? Elder. All right, recalling Mr. Elder. This is case number 250-569-2201. He said, Mr. Cameron Elder, appearances, please.
Lisa Coyle appearing on behalf of the people. Jessica Shab on behalf of Mr. Elder, who is formal reading understands his constitutional rights and stands.
All right, Corey and I good to plead on behalf of Mr. Elder. Bond recommendation from the people.
Your Honor, the people are recommending a remand in this case. As I stated before, I see it is on Odyssey, a second case for CSC1, different victim. This case involves a child that was under 13 years old. It was, at the time, Mr. Elder was an employee of the family business. Allegedly, these assaults began when she was between 9 and 10 years old and continued to the age of 11. I understand this case is from 2017, but I do understand that the fact that this is very common for a child to withhold information until they're ready to talk and speak. And in this matter, she did come forward. And like I said, also, Your Honor, as you can see on Odyssey, I know that the court, it appears, has not signed it. But I do take that away from it. I see that this case is extremely concerning because she knows him, obviously was a family friend, worked in that business, and allegedly took advantage of a young child. And for that reason, Your Honor, I'm asking for a remand in this matter.
Ms. Shive, why should I remand your client?
Your Honor, my client is presumed innocent unless proven guilty beyond a reasonable doubt. He is 25 years old at the time, might have been 17 years old. This is a matter from 2017. I don't know why it took him this long until April 16th to sign, because everything in the report I see says 2017. I don't see things happen. There's not much in this report, Your Honor. To be honest, it's a very short report for such a serious allegation, life offense. It's a very short report and way shorter than we usually would get on these type of offenses. Now, we weren't there. Everyone's presumed innocent unless proven guilty beyond reasonable doubt. I can tell you he's not on probation or parole or nothing pending, no priors. In the 8 years that have passed, I'm not aware of him having any convictions. He's employed, he lives with his parents, he has the family ties and community ties, he's still around, he's not a flight risk. So I'm asking for anything but a remand. I'm asking for a personal with a tether or a 10% bond, Your Honor, given the age of the case, given no history of all, given no flight risk, Your Honor.
Court having heard an argument as to bond. Under MCR 6.106, I believe the presumption of guilt is great in this matter. I will remand Mr. Elder to custody of Wayne County Jail while his case is pending. Probable cause will be May 14th, preliminary examination May 20th, both in front of Judge Jack Hay. Please step aside, sir.
And Your Honor, may I ask the court to elaborate about that evidence? Because unless I'm missing something or the court has something we don't have, all we have is her word. I don't see that there was any kit done, anything matching him, any witnesses, any speaking to anybody. All I have in a very short report for a life offense is her word, and that is it. And we are about to take the liberty of somebody over someone's word. There's nothing more here. There's nothing more.
You just answered your own question. It's her word based on the investigation report. And I
that's
believe
all we have, Your Honor. He's presumed innocent unless proven guilty beyond a reasonable doubt, not presumed guilty until proven innocent.
Mr. Elder, I about had it with your gyrations and motions. Now, Ms. Shy.
Would the court at least consider a cash bond?
No, I'm not going to consider a cash bond. I believe the investigation report, as brief as it is, at least I'm persuaded, given the age of the complaining witness and I know it's hard to ascertain credibility in this matter. I believe it's a credible report. And so my finding is that the presumption of guilt is great in this matter, and that's why I'm remanding him in the custody of Wayne County Jail. Step aside, Mr. Elder. What's your name? What is your name, Mr. Nolan? Mr. Jermaine Nolan. All right, this is case number 250-572-5401, Peace of the Michigan versus Jermaine Nolan. Appearances, please.
Lisa Coyle, appearing on behalf of the people.
Jessica Scheib on behalf of Mr. Nolan, who is full reading, understands constitutional rights, and stands mute.
All right, the court will enter not guilty plea on behalf of Mr. Nolan. By recommendation from the people.
People are asking for a remand of this matter. Allegedly, this young girl was 13 at the time. The defendant was the boyfriend of the mother and lived with the complainant for over 9 years. And as I'm not going to read into the court can read what occurred and what she disclosed during a forensic interview back in 2023.
This is I have the complaining witness as a he.
It's the second most toxic thing in your kitchen. If you are still using plastic or wooden cutting boards, you have to see this. I honestly never post stuff like this, but I just had to share something that happened and what I found because of it. So I cook almost every day. And over the years, we've gone through all kinds of cutting boards. We used plastic for a long time, but then I read this article about microplastics ending up in your food.
I heard that complaining was a he.
Oh, that's the other case. Okay, I'm sorry. Okay, I'm sorry.
Oh, he got another case?
There are 2 cases that are in Odyssey. And so this, obviously, that hasn't been walked over as well. So this one is a 9-year-old boy. He's a little boy. And I'm not going to go through the allegations that are in the IR based on him being a minor still. This, in fact, the mother would go to work, and he allegedly cared for the children and had custody and control over the children. And as you can see, he would allegedly perform sexual acts on a child. And this came out in a Kids Talk. This is part of a backlog warrant, Your Honor. So I'm asking for a remand in this matter.
Your Honor, my client is 44 years old, and he's not on probation or parole, and there's no prior criminal history. Your Honor, this case is a reissue. This was dismissed without prejudice on January 12, 2024 for insufficient evidence. My client did his part, went through the whole process, and here we are again. It was not dismissed for complaining witness failing to appear. Yes?
It was dismissed for insufficient evidence at what stage in the proceeding? Preliminary examination, trial, or what?
Let me see where it was dismissed for insufficient evidence. I have it on January 12, 2024. Let me pull up the ROA so I can get you exactly what that was. And while I do that, I'm going to argue that his child's mother lied to CPS to get heat off of her, and that is why we are here today. He actually is the primary caregiver for his special needs son, and he's not the complaining witness. And there's a reason why he is that person and that they allowed him to be that person. He has no record whatsoever, and he wouldn't be the primary caregiver for another child if this was the case. So we have an allegation from a mother who had motive to do that, and my client already went through the whole the process and showed up to his court dates. So this is a reissue. So for him to be remanded when there was insufficient evidence, and now here he is again, Your Honor.
Okay. All right. I get that, Ms. Scheib.
I also want to say, I believe he turned himself in. They called him from his brother's house because the police were there, and he went there to meet the police, and they brought him in. Okay. So he's also not at flight risk. He knows what he's facing. He beat this case dismissed, and
well,
now
we don't know what happened with the case. That's what I'm still waiting for information. Why was it dismissed?
It's insufficient evidence, Your Honor.
Okay.
That's not from me.
At
it's
what
for the register of actions.
At exam, at trial, at what? It would have been a trial.
Okay, I'm looking that up.
It shows, it says exact 1/12/24. Exam, it says examination held, and then it says exam conducted, charges dismissed without prejudice, insufficient evidence, case closed. Now, the question I have when I look back into, and this was his bond at that time was 100,000 cash with a tether.
Okay.
And I don't know.
All right.
Okay.
All right, I've heard enough. I'm going to continue that same bond, $100,000 cash. Does he still reside in the same house with the complaining witness? Ms. Shire?
Sir, only answer what I'm asking. The complaining witness, you still live with that individual?
No.
Okay.
All right. $100,000 cash surety. No contact with the complaining witness. GPS tether, 9 p.m. to 6 a.m. curfew. No contact with the complaining witnesses. No contact with any minor children. Well, sir, you know I have a special needs son that I'm the one to care for.
That's correct, Your Honor.
How old is the special needs child? 15, sir. 15? Sir. And you care for that person 24 hours? Sir. Is that a yes? Yes, sir. No contact with any minor children?
This system is
Functions.
fucked
We
up.
promise to replace it for free within 10 years for any quality problems. This product can be...
This man is being charged with a sex crime with the minor that's living with the same kid that he taking care of. These folks is fucked up, man.
used to weld a variety of metals such as stainless steel, aluminum, copper, etc. It welds electronic components with extremely
that
high
like
welding
button.
accuracy without
Don't nobody
causing
know what's going
deformation or
on.
damage to the
I
material.
got caught up in that
The
bullshit.
metal can...
Let me change this shit.
Culture, our history being taught in school.
For years, the origins of time.
All right, you guys, happy Tuesday, and obviously I should...
Developing story we've been following all week long. The search for Grant Harden now entering its third day, or in it, finishing its third day. He was serving prison sentences for first-degree murder and rape. Both crimes happened in Benton County. We learned tonight that investigators believe a corrections officer let Harden walk out of that facility. They shared this surveillance image captured during that escape. He was disguised to look like a corrections officer when he walked out of the prison near Calico Rock on Sunday afternoon. Law enforcement agencies from around the state have been involved in the manhunt, working through the rainy and very foggy conditions.
Not exactly a relaxing Memorial Day weekend.
Gallons in salt water, and it said they're doing it all underground. Well, those rumors seem to be true. The Middle Eastern country was once stuck in a constant water shortage crisis, but not anymore. However, why would they bury water underground when it's so needed on the surface. We're all aware that Saudi is in the desert, and it's one of the driest countries in the world. Despite this hiccup, the country has done the seemingly impossible by creating an underground river system without there having a single natural river.
Event is going to teach you how you can get started investing in real estate for as little as a few $100s using something called tax lien investing. Tax lien investing is actually very simple. When someone fails to pay their property taxes, the government actually creates certificates for that debt. You can buy that debt from the government by paying the taxes. Then when the owner finally pays, you get the interest owed from the delinquent bill. And if they never pay, the property actually goes into pre-foreclosure where you can invest into it for very cheap. It is by far the easiest way to get into real estate. No dealing with tenants, renovations, or Airbnbs. At the event, we are going to teach you how to find and invest in these properties.
Saudi Arabia is rumored to be pumping millions of gallons in salt water, and it's said they're doing it all underground. Well, those rumors seem to be true. The Middle Eastern country was once stuck in a constant water shortage crisis, but not anymore. However, why would they bury water underground when it's so needed on the surface? We're all aware that Saudi is in the desert, and it's one of the driest countries in the world. Despite this hiccup, the country has done the seemingly impossible by creating an underground river system without there having a single natural river. Crazy, right? Saudi has no natural freshwater sources, no lakes, and no rivers, but since 2021, the country has constructed 522 dams. In Saudi Arabia's case, such dams majorly store rainwater and floodwaters, which are then treated and distributed through various systems. These dams collect and store the limited rainfall that does occur, primarily through wadis, dry riverbeds that temporarily fill with water after rare rainfalls. Considering their rainfall map, it's hard to say that several inches of rain falling from the sky would make a huge difference in the country's water supply. But luckily they can. At certain times, so much rain falls that it's enough to supply entire cities with water. Saudi dams collect water from such seasonal floods and rare rainfall events. The dams are put in place because Saudi is so hot and the water would evaporate immediately from the insanely high temperatures were it left to rush on its own. Additionally, the total storage capacity of these dams to collect water is a staggering 650 billion gallons of water. Similarly, there are many important dams in the country, one of which is the Halid Dam. This dam is located about 14 kilometers east of Kayad in Makkah province. Constructed between 2003 and 2009, it ranks as the second largest dam in the country with its approximated 249.86 million cubic meters in reservoir capacity. The dam helps with flood control, irrigation, local water supply, as well as recharge of water from the ground. In the Mecca area alone, Saudi has a crazy total of 60 dams with an overall capacity of 232 billion gallons of water. Despite being one of the driest countries on Earth, Saudi Arabia isn't completely without water. Regardless of the dams put in place, there's still a secondary water supply. Saudi's main water source comes not from underground rivers, but underground lakes, or to be more precise, groundwater. Here's the math. You can't say that nature has denied Saudi Arabia of the water that's beneath the ground, because it technically hasn't. Geological surveys estimate that there are around 26 trillion gallons of water sitting right under the Saudi ground. That sounds like an enormous amount, and it is. But it's not as good as it sounds. Only a small portion of this water is renewable, about 739 billion gallons per year. This renewable groundwater can be safely used without threatening future supply because it's naturally replenished through rainfall. However, the rest simply won't. making it basically non-renewable, or what scientists call fossil water, ancient water that's been trapped underground for thousands, even millions of years. Once fossil water is pumped out, it's gone forever. It doesn't refill because Saudi Arabia doesn't get nearly enough rain to do that. This fossil water comes from a time when the Arabian Peninsula was much wetter, thousands of years ago. Back then, rain was more frequent and rivers flowed across regions that are now desert. Over time, the rainwater seeped into the ground and collected in massive natural aquifers where it's remained ever since. Today, that same water is being extracted by pumps, channeled to cities, farmlands, and homes. Groundwater may be a blessing, but it's not a bottomless one. It's honestly a fragile lifeline. You might be thinking it's not that bad. Well, for starters, Saudi Arabia consumes far more water than it can replenish naturally. The water doesn't even come close to half of what the country needs. Water is used not only for drinking and sanitation, but also for irrigation, industry, and even luxury purposes, like maintaining green parks and washing cars. The demand is huge, and yet the renewable portion of groundwater is limited. What makes things worse is that rainfall in Saudi Arabia is scarce and very unpredictable. Some years, the rain might be a bit more generous. Other years, it barely arrives at all. There's no guarantee of when the next refill will come, or if it will come at all. That means that relying on groundwater, especially non-renewable sources,
In the fall of 2004, 33-year-old Christian Almendinger and 30-year-old Brent Uncal decide they're ready for a career change. The investment consultants have toiled for the Houston branch of Hibernia Bank long enough.
They came from this banking background, which is generally something that's, it's a pretty conservative industry, but they took a very different approach.
Houston Chronicle reporter Lawrence.
This story is crazy. This is Carla De Pena from Florida. Now, she became a juror in a case involving a man named Besman Okafor. Now, Besman Okafor and two other men were involved in a home invasion robbery in May of
To be the most popular iSmartwatch on the market right now. With it, there's no need to prick your finger for
2012. During that trial, Okafor got a great idea. If there's no witnesses, then they can't convict me. So Okafor masterminds an execution of the witnesses.
So the day of the arraignment, they had this meeting right in the back of the courthouse. See, when something like this happens, you know how things are going to work out. It's always better with no witnesses. So what about Andy?
He won't talk. Stone's a good kid. Stand-up guy just like his own man. That's the way I see it.
I agree. He's solid. A fucking Marine.
He's okay. He always was. Bring on. What do you think?
Look. Why take a chance? At least that's the way I feel about it.
Now, Okafor was not successful in killing all the witnesses because, unfortunately for him, somebody survived. So the state then convicted him of the home invasion and gave him life in prison.
Court finds you are to be sentenced under PRR. As to count one, which is the burglary of a dwelling with an assault or a battery with a firearm, it is a life felony. The court is going to adjudicate and sentence you to life. With regard to count two, which is robbery with a firearm, which is a F1, but is a PVL, That is the case involving Brianna Campos. The court is going to adjudicate and sentence you to life.
Now, even though Okafor was serving a life sentence already for the home invasion, the state decided to charge him again for the murder of the witnesses.
Is on trial this week, charged in the 2012 killing of 19-year-old Alex Zaldivar in Ocoee. Prosecutors say it was part of a plot to silence Zaldivar and his roommates so they would not testify at a home invasion trial.
Now, in 2015, Okafor was found guilty and sentenced to death by a jury. Now, that jury vote to sentence Okafor to death wasn't unanimous. And in 2016, the Florida Supreme Court overturned the death sentence for Okafor because the jury verdict wasn't unanimous. Then in 2020, a new Florida Supreme Court with more conservative justices ruled that a unanimous jury was not required to sentence someone to death, reversing the previous decision. Then Governor Ron DeSantis said enough with the nonsense. He signed a law that allowed death sentences to be imposed if only 8 out of 12 jurors recommended it.
Okafor was originally sentenced to death in 2015 after killing 19-year-old Alex Zaldivar, who was slated to testify against Okafor in a home invasion case. That sentence was overturned after the state Supreme Court ruled a death sentence requires a unanimous vote of jurors. Prosecutors were working to get that death sentence reinstated after a new law went into effect last April, requiring only 8 of 12 jurors to agree.
So the prosecutors decided to go at it again, and 12 jurors were selected. One of those jurors was Carla De Pena. Now, Carla De Pena did not want to do jury duty. She tried everything to get out. So Carla came up with a great idea. Let me just cause a mistrial, and then guess what? All the jurors can go home. And she even told other jurors of her plans.
She did not want to be on this in particular jury. She did mention that her work does not provide compensation for jury duty.
Jurors testified against De Pena, saying she stated multiple times her frustrations with being a juror. One juror mentioned she verbalized her intent to cause a mistrial the night before Okafor's sentencing trial was supposed to end.
She was upset. She said that she needed to be at work that night. We were called back in the room, and the judge told us we were going to be sequestered for the night, explained the rules, and then we went back into the deliberation room, and she asked to speak to the judge. And before she walked out, she said she was about to make that a mistrial.
So the juror walks out the room, tells the jury, I'm causing a mistrial, and then goes and tells the judge this.
The jury went back to decide whether to give Okafor the death penalty, and they'd been deliberating for hours when the 26-year-old juror told a deputy she needed to talk to the judge. She then told him she'd spoken to a friend over the weekend who knew the victim and, quote, believed him to be a good person. The juror said she, quote, could no longer be fair and impartial, and that she would never be able to vote to recommend a sentence of death. The juror had gone 3 days without telling the judge that she had violated his order not to talk to anyone about the case.
So as you can imagine, the judge declared a mistrial, and the other jurors then ratted this juror out, saying, hold on, she did all of this on purpose. After looking at the evidence, the judge then said this.
Dismissing you as a juror in this case, I'm going to find that you're an indirect criminal contempt, instruct the state of Florida to file charges against you.
Zaldivar says jurors reached out to him explaining what happened.
So then the state of Florida did follow through and file charges against this juror for intentionally, and again, I want to make that very clear, intentionally causing a mistrial. Now, this is what the juror said in her defense.
There was no intention of causing any harm, and there was no ill will from my end. I was truly overwhelmed and did not know how to handle this situation.
Now, after all the tears and all the crying and, hey, I didn't know how to get out of the situation, the judge didn't believe it at all and maxed her out.
And now that judge went on to sentence De Pena to 179 days in jail, the max time for her offense.
Now, we can't forget about Bestman Okafor because of this juror's actions. He had to be resentenced again, and you had to have a whole new jury come in. And that jury came to a decision.
First, though, breaking news, the verdict just in from the court, the jury making a recommendation in the third sentencing trial of a convicted killer to send him back to death row. Thanks for joining us. I'm Lisa Bell.
Glad you're with us tonight. I'm Matt Austin. Bestman Okafor was originally sentenced to die in 2015 for the murder of Alex Zaldivar. That was later overturned due to changes in Florida's death penalty laws which once again changed in the last year.
We, the jury, find by a vote of 9-3 that Bestman Okafor should be sentenced to death.
So Bestman Okafor doesn't have long for this world in Florida. But a couple of things come up with this case. Number one, 179 days is about 6 months, if you really think about it. And that's more time than Jussie Smollett got for the hoax that he did in Chicago.
Just in the last few moments, right behind us here in a Cook County courtroom, Jussie Smollett was remanded into custody. He has been sentenced to 30 months probation, which will include 150 days, which he will have to spend behind bars here at the Cook County Jail. He was just taken into custody. He was screaming as he was escorted out of the courtroom, "I am not," and continuing to proclaim his innocence. He will also have to pay over $120,000 in restitution. He faces a $25,000 fine. And again, he is now going to be spending the night, as of now, behind bars in a Cook County jail.
Yeah, that juror got slammed worse than Jussie Smollett. And I think Jussie Smollett's sentence should have been served. But now, I want to pitch to you. What do you think about this juror? Do you think she got too much time? Or do you think she got too little time? Now, I'm just going to say it. If you want to get out of jury duty, there are other ways you can do it than just causing a mistrial, lying and saying you spoke to someone when you didn't speak to them, and then lying to the judge. Because again, this woman was lying to the judge every day.
And you also told me that you lied to me every morning you came to court and told me that you did not have contact with anybody.
So now, if you're serving on jury duty and don't want to serve, I think you find another way to get out of jury duty, because causing a mistrial intentionally will get you locked up, as this one found out. Now, let me know how you feel in the comment section. Tell me where I'm wrong, as always. And my name is Nate the Lawyer, and I'll see you in the next one. Peace.
She shouldn't have got locked up. Sister locked up.
This crazy zoom lens to your smartphone to spy on anyone at any distance. So there's this new extremely powerful...
Antoine Massey's sister is accused of helping him evade law enforcement.
Gabby Kelev reports one of his romantic partners is also allegedly involved. Gabby.
Liz Lauren, 31-year-old Daishanay Massey is among 13 now booked on suspicion of aiding and abetting the men who escaped. Her brother, Antoine, and Derek Groves are the only two men still on the run. Court records reveal that police began surveilling Daishanay's home in the 3600 block of 4th Street. Soon after, police say a woman romantically involved with Antoine called police multiple times, telling them that he was at Daishanay's home. They say she knew because she video called him on his sister's phone. Now, investigators searched Daishanay's home last Wednesday, but Antoine wasn't there. Detectives say they searched Daishanay's phone also and recovered messages between Antoine's partner and his sister. They say the women shared press releases and agreed that they hope he, quote, never gets caught. Police say they also discovered that last Monday at about 5:30 in the evening, Antoine's alleged partner shared a live location with Daishanay. Police say it was later deleted. Investigators spoke with both women later, which they say uncovered that Massey was at Daishanay Massey's home that same day. Police say they also learned that Antoine's romantic partner was aware of the planned escape prior to it occurring, and that she helped facilitate it by supporting Antoine during phone calls. They say she continued to aid Antoine post-escape by knowingly placing false tips to law enforcement. Investigators have also secured a warrant against Antoine's romantic partner.
Tonight, the dramatic moments. 2 more New Orleans fugitives were captured. Only 2 more remain on the loose. The footage just released showing police chasing the escaped prisoners going the wrong way down the highway. And the body camera footage as they pull them out of the car. Plus, the ex-police chief convicted of murder on the run after his prison escape. The community he once vowed to protect, now living in fear. Secret Service fight. 2 agents caught on camera in a fist fight. What the Secret Service says about their behavior. Beanie Baby Mansion attack. The assault at the home of the man who created Beanie Babies. The woman who worked for him, now in a coma. And the former soldier being blamed for the attack. Countdown to liftoff. Elon Musk and SpaceX will try once again to launch their Starship rocket after 2 spectacular failures. We'll bring it to you live. Reality stars pardoned. President Trump gives a full pardon to Todd and Julie Chrisley, stars of the show Chrisley Knows Best, serving years for bank fraud. The moment he called their daughter to deliver the news. Up in flames, a boat off the coast of Florida suddenly explodes. The race to save those on board, nearly a dozen injured. What caused it to ignite? And prom night heroes, the teenagers on their way back home from the big dance when they see a house on fire, how they came to the rescue of the family inside. Plus, the chilling testimony today, Sean Diddy Combs' former assistant on the stand with how the rap mogul threatened to kill his romantic rivals, even driving to his house with a gun. Top Story starts right now. Good evening, I'm Ellison Barber in for Tom Yamas. Tonight,
I can't listen to no more of that bullshit. How y'all doing? Push that like button. Say what? Your mission, should you choose to accept, so that you hit that motherfucker too hard, or what? Good morning, Snag. What's up, exes? You a brickyard, baby. How you know that, man? I'm sorry for not engaging with y'all niggas. I got caught up. From the brickyard, nigga. $1428 Robert Street. That's fucked up. I still ain't got that address. All right, y'all. It's time for me to go. I ain't gonna play with y'all. I done been live for too damn long.
On an uninhabited island at the...
With brazen home break-ins on the rise, it's no wonder many people turn to banks to store valuables in a safe deposit box.
It seems like impenetrable vaults like this would be the safest place to store your priceless possessions. But it turns out that's not always the case.
This is absolutely wrong, and I am shocked to have had this happen.
When Jenny Pearsons was looking for a place to store her nest egg, a $25,000 silver collection, and $2,000 in cash, she turned to U.S. private vaults in Beverly Hills.
Story is very tragic. Has a long criminal history and is in the country illegally. We are uncovering new details about his past following that shooting on Whittingham Lane over the weekend after a judge denied his bond today. KPRC2's Bryce Newberry is live at the Harris County Jail tonight. And Bryce, he's been accused of murder before.
Yeah, Keith, he has, and this Cuban national appeared to have no shame when he shot and killed his ex-brother-in-law on Sunday afternoon. He's allegedly been involved in credit card skimming schemes, and tonight 3 law enforcement sources tell me that he was under investigation.
Location, a few hundred kilometers north of Perth, there's a stockpile of what...
War of words, but
These old photos will change your perspective on the past. Tarred and feathered medieval punishment requiring extensive medical treatment, 1941. The last queen consort of Mongolia, killed during Stalin's Great Purge in 1938. Photo, 1923. Before penicillin,
Are the 3 best oils for cooking?
Number 3, canola oil. If you can find organic canola oil.
Mohammed and Samir in Damascus, blind. Before penicillin, the ravages of syphilis, circa 1905. Mohammed and Samir in Damascus, blind, Muslim, carries his paralyzed Christian dwarf friend, 1889. Five 6, Gino Franceschini, trying to stretch to 5'7" to be a fireman. He fell 1/8 short, 1941. X-ray technician's damaged hand, caused by repeated exposure to radiation. London, 1900. Dr. Fukushi Masaichi, 1878-1956, curated the only known collection of tattoos taken from the dead. Custom house clock? Nope. Just a little repainting. Boston, 1976. Mother embraces son. He had just escaped from a North Korean POW camp. Fallbeil, the German guillotine. Executioner, Franz Xaver, prepares for Matthias Kneibel, Augsburg, 1902. Guerrilla fighter Cheng Ben-hua, smiling moments before her execution. She was 24, 1938. Nosferatu, Max Schreck, chilling behind the scenes, 1922. Inhabitants of St. Kilda, Outer Hebrides, 1926. The islands were evacuated in 1930, having been inhabited since antiquity. Catherine Stinson, the first female pilot authorized to carry U.S. mail, Calgary, 1918. This yew hedge was planted in 1720, the tallest in the world, England, 1962. Largest Roman mosaic in the world. It's in a hotel which you can visit. Antakya, Turkey. Submerged diver, the first photograph taken underwater, 1899. Down in Hooverville, the Great Depression, 1936. $3,000 construction workers posing for a photo during work on the Chase Manhattan Bank, 1964. Samurai with longbow, Satsuma Domain, Japan, 1860. Artistry and humor from antiquity. Saint Foy Abbey, France, circa 1050. The biggest sea bass ever caught. Edward Llewellyn landed the giant 425-pound fish alone.
Hey. God bless y'all.
The
Man.
Rhine
Have a
River
good
boat,
morning.
transporting whiskey in